Welcome back, my bloodthirsty fans. I know you just want more Jurassic Park reviews, and do I have one today for you? We've already looked at the Jurassic Park Series 1 Stegosaurus from the classic original Kenner line. I already had a review for this. If you haven't seen it and you want to see it, go check this out if you like this figure, or whatever. But either way, so the first time we got a Jurassic Park Stegosaurus was from the first line, but strange how we didn't see a Stegosaurus in the first movie. But then the Lost World comes around, and the Stegosaurus makes a brief cameo for a little bit in the beginning moments of the film when Malcolm's team first arrives on Isla Sorna. So with the Lost World toy line, it was pretty obvious that there was going to be another Stegosaurus figure, giving Kenner another shot at it, because the classic Stegosaurus from the first Jurassic Park toy line Series 1 left some things to be desired, I'll say. So will Kenner's second shot at the Stegosaurus be better than the first? You will just have to stick around for this review to find out, but either way, let's get this going. Sporting mostly a greenish paint job, just like the Stegosaurus before. Right here, though, is a slightly darker green, but with the same kind of underbottom color as the other Stegosaurus from Series 1, that really light, creamy white color, whichever you prefer to call it. But again, taking into account this is from 1997, so now this figure's pretty old. It's nothing to rave about, but it's definitely not the worst Stegosaurus, and they definitely kind of improved a few things over the Series 1 Stego. Woo, damn. Here's his Dino Damage. His Dino Damage cap. It's one of his spikes comes off. The only thing to kind of note about this, it doesn't really stay in there all the best. You can see that little notch is supposed to stick right in there, and it works, but it does pop off pretty easily. Even if you just don't even touch it, it can fall off really easily. So minor downsides, I guess you could say, but pretty cool Dino Damage being new, because the other Stegosaurus, a part of his leg right here, came off. So new Dino Damage, that's always a plus, in my book anyway, maybe not yours. But this being a Kenner figure, some pretty decent head sculpting on this figure. Very nice, very nice. Another downside, I guess, to this figure, just like the Series 1 Stegosaurus from Jurassic Park, is there's very little articulation on this figure, and exactly what I was talking about, that fell out again. So you can see what I mean, the Dino Damage pops out really easy on this guy, but he doesn't have any articulation. His legs are kind of stuck, and so isn't his head. So it's kind of just in an awkward, I know I usually say the Jurassic Park 3 figures are in the awkward stances, but this being a somewhat awkward stance Stegosaurus, but it's not terrible. So it suffers from pretty much almost the same things that haunted the original classic Stegosaurus, but this one did a few things slightly better, it being the tail whipping action. While still pretty lame and weak, it's a lot better than the one from Series 1. Again, my opinion, maybe you think the one from Series 1's better, the tail whipping action I'm talking about, not the figure as a whole. But basically this figure's all hard plastic, all the way up until right here at the back, so you can see it's kind of starting to come unglued. I probably should try to glue that back on, but from right there on this back thing, this is kind of not rubbery, it's got I don't know, it's got a really squishy feel, you can see. Same with these sails right here on the back, they got really squishy feels, and then these ones are hard plastic from the front up. And another cool thing too on the tail, on the Lost World Stegosaurus, this, like I said, being a rubbery thing, the spikes on the back actually are a little bit harder plastic, not extremely hard plastic, but slightly harder plastic, so very cool that Kenner went into that detail just for the tail for this guy being, here's the difference you can see. Series 1 tail, Series 2 tail, definitely an improvement. That's just me though, definitely big improvement in the tail. The action feature itself is still pretty lame sauce, like I said. The main difference, instead of the other one using your hand like this to move it, this one had an action feature. You take these two sails or spikes and you squish them together like so, and his tail will whip in an action. So while the action doesn't really go too far, it is a lot better, in my opinion, than tail whipping action on this guy, which was just... Ooh, tail whipping action. So, this figure scores some better points for that over the original. This figure has a few pieces of capture gear. 4 if you really want to be technical, because this piece can come out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But I usually just keep that in, saying this is 1 piece, 2, and 3. So 3 to 4 pieces of capture gear, whichever way you want to slice that pizza, that's up to you. Pizza. I don't know what I'm talking about, but alright. This capture gear was actually kind of cool because it worked again. But you put these 2 cuffs on his legs, like so. The other one, that. So then you take this back piece, which goes into there, and you clip it around his back spike tail so he can't hurt anybody. Take this piece and like that to keep it locked in and attached so he's restrained. He can't move his tail anymore and hurt anyone. So really cool capture gear again, this being new capture gear that we never really saw again on another figure. I really like the capture gear. It works, and like I said, it's new, and it's not just like a repainted capture gear. It's, yeah, and like with most Jurassic Park dinosaurs, he can break free from his capture gear. All you have to do is take this lock piece out that's basically holding this back piece together, and then when you go to use his tail whipping action, he kind of basically breaks out. Either way, here's a Lost World human figure, so you can get a size idea if you have one, or any Kenner figure will work, but I just have a Lost World on hand. So, just to give you guys an idea, his size is pretty close to the original Jurassic Park Series 1 Stegosaurus, so if you have this guy too, he's basically almost the exact same size, just slightly, a little bit bigger, I'd say, maybe a little bit longer. But yes, so you all may be wondering which one do I prefer more, the Lost World Stegosaurus or the Jurassic Park Series 1 Stegosaurus. I like the action features on the Lost World Stegosaurus, but if I had to pick, I just like the old one. More so just because it's the all rubber dinosaur skin, so I mean you can't move the head or legs, and you can't move the head or legs on the Lost World one either, but I just feel like the Lost World one isn't as nice. I don't know, it's not bad, it's just not as, I don't know, it just can't stand up to the classic one, even though this is a classic in its own right. Take it for what it is. JP24, Site B on his leg, and yeah. So if you weren't a fan of the original Stegosaurus from Kenner's line, best to probably skip this Stegosaurus, because you're probably not gonna find him all that interesting, I guess, or you won't really like him if you weren't a fan of the old one, because this one, they improved a few things, but overall it's still kind of lacking, and kind of makes you want to see a better Stegosaurus, but they both have their ups and downs, so you got to take it for what it is. But if I had to rate the Lost World Stego, he gets probably around a 2.8 or 3. He's alright, check him out. He's not really rare either, so prices shouldn't be too insane if you want to track one down. Mitten box, maybe a little bit more on the expensive side, but shouldn't be too difficult should you really want one for your collection. Give the video a thumbs up if you like this figure, or thumbs the video down, whichever's you want, I don't care. Tell me what you think of this figure, and what are your opinions about him? Which do you prefer, the Lost World Stegosaurus or the Jurassic Park Series 1 Stegosaurus? This is Red Honia signing out. I'll see you guys all in the next review, which will be uploaded probably next Saturday. Until then, take care, and I'll be seeing you in the Shadow Realm.